Once again, Candace Owens being completely disingenuous, just straight up lying about racism. And this is why, how do you respect this, ladies and gentlemen? You can't. You can't. See, this is the thing that I keep telling you, and this came out in the Atlanta Black Star, November 13th, 2019. Now, I said this before, I'm going to repeat this one more time. The Candace Owens, the Jesse Lee Petersons, the Larry Elders, the David Clarks. See, these folks know how to milk a cow dry. And what I mean is, it's a hustle. You get on the public stage and you sound just like the white man when it comes down to racism. It's a hustle. It's all about money. The more they talk like this, the more a white audience will flock to them and start propping them up. They will prop these people up because now you got a black face that's saying what they wish they could say to the black community. They don't have to do it themselves. They got someone melanated to speak these words now that they want to hear. See, these folks are race junkies. They want to hear bad things about the black community on a 24-hour cycle, nonstop. There's no better way of doing it than through a black face. And that's what Candace Owens is. See, when racism happens to them, it's real. When racism happens to others in the black community, these same people, the Candace Owens, the Larry Elders, the Jesse Lee Petersons, the David Clarks, will deny racism to other black people. And like I said before, go and look at Candace Owens' old videos from a few years back. She was talking a lot about all of the racism and discrimination in America. Now, all of a sudden, she's changed gears. And she sounds just like a typical white person out here. Nobody changes that much, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody changes that much. The change is for money. It's all about money. It's a hustle. That's what this is. See, they know how to play up these white audience members for money. Talk bad about your own people. That's a black person they'll be more than happy to toss money at. It's a hustle. So, Pants on Fire, Candace Owens claims she didn't have race issues growing up, but a 2008 discrimination suit says otherwise. That's what I'm saying. It's real when it happens to them. It's not real when it happens to others in the black community. Always pay close attention to that when you are dealing with the Candace Owens, Paris Denard, David Clark type of black person. Nothing is real unless it happens to them, which makes their message completely null and void. And it's the exact reason why they don't gain traction within the black community. People in the black community are not heavily following Candace Owens. That should tell you something right there. It is a lot to be said when Candace Owens' name comes up and more white people defend Candace Owens than black people. That says it all right there. Black conservative Candace Owens was called to the carpet this week after arguing The race was not an issue for her when she was younger, seemingly forgetting a racial discrimination case she filed just 10 years ago. It was during a Tuesday appearance on the Ingram Angle. That sounds like some damn porn. the the Ingram Angle sound like some porn there. That Owens blamed Barack Obama for deepening the nation's racial divide and accused Democrats of using awful name calling rhetoric as a means of laying down the groundwork for Hillary Clinton to run in 2016. Honey, racial discrimination started centuries before Barack Obama was ever in existence. Okay, so your argument just fell flat on its face from the beginning. Okay, and all this stuff about Democrats, Democrats and Republicans in America played a huge part in all of the racism that continues to go on to this day. I could just blow you away in what you said. The problem is this girl ain't smart. She ain't smart. This is why she put herself out here and she got quashed in the process. Obama did a lot to tear the country apart, the pundit told host Fox News Laura Ingraham. I do not remember growing up having all of these racial issues. I really don't remember it. She's lying. She's lying. And she is kind of on the dark side too. Oh no, honey, you don't grow up like that in America and you didn't face any issues. She's lying. She's lying. America is a very color struck nation. There is no way someone this complexion grew up in America and never saw racism. They are lying. Okay, let's move on. Owens, a right wing provocateur and Donald Trump supporter, continued railing against Obama and smeared the former president for buying into what she called the myth of police brutality. She is lying. She is lying. She know damn well that ain't no myth. That was not a myth during the plantation police days. And it's not a myth now that we are in modern day plantation police days. She sees all that brutality out there and she knows it's real. This is how you play up to a white audience. You say all of the things they want to hear, and they will gladly put you on mainstream news and they will gladly throw money at her for making these kind of statements. It's a hustle, y'all. It's a hustle. She is not living in America and not seeing all of these shootings of unarmed Black people. She sees it. She knows it's real. But when those cameras start rolling, she's going to say what the white audience want to hear. It's a hustle. Suddenly, towards the end of Obama, we started hearing all of the rhetoric drummed up. It became white versus Black all over again. That never ended. And we didn't start this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. All of this discrimination and racism and police brutality, this started centuries ago. And we were not the ones to start it. Remember, our people were out on slave fields. They weren't in any position to write policies and laws, enforce discriminatory practices, any type of discrimination. We weren't in any position to start this mess. It couldn't have possibly started with us. That's why it's laughable that these folks are sitting in our faces talking about um, we're racist. You had to dig up your ass for that one. That mess never started with us. Our people were enslaved with no power in America to enforce any kind of discriminatory practices. And we're still not in those positions. So it's to me a running joke when they try to project that stuff onto us as if we had that kind of power all along in the country to discriminate and shut people out. It's laughable. They pulled that one from their ass. And let them keep pulling it from their ass. Let them keep doing it. Let them keep doing it. Because the history don't support what they're saying. The history does not support what they're saying. These people were the ones that put laws and policies in place against us. They have created this entire society to work for them and not for us. So when they make those statements, the history and the data don't support what they're saying at all. It's very provable. And plus, they wrote their discrimination into history. They wrote it. Okay. They wrote it. It's just like their politicians see what's going on out here and they blatantly turn a blind eye to it, but they see it. They see it just as much as we do. So, again, she's playing up to a white audience. I shouldn't even say all over again because when I was alive, there was not an issue when it became about race. So she's clearly lying. Many took issue with Owen's remarks, including Intercept columnist Medhi Hassan, who was the first to point out the commentator's big fat lie. Huh? She literally sued the local education board over racist bullying when she was a teenager in high school. He tweeted, adding, the grift is strong on this one. Okay, so if you did not face any racism when you were coming up, then where did this lawsuit come from? Racist bullying? Where did that come from, Candace? I bet this didn't go over well with your white audience. Hassan was referencing a lawsuit filed by then 18-year-old Owens in 2008, accusing the Stanford Board of Education of not doing enough to protect her from racist harassment by white classmates. Classmates, like more than one white person, was bullying her racially at the time. Classmates. According to the complaint, one student allegedly threatened to kill Owens and called her slur. But whenever she gets in front of the media, what does she say? Racism don't exist. Racism is over. Racism don't exist. See, this is what her white fan base want to hear. See, this is why Candace is beautiful and intelligent. And she's all them things they be saying when they're propping her up. It's not because she's telling the truth. It's because she is saying it in a manner that they want to hear. That's the only reason why she's beautiful and intelligent, ladies and gentlemen. Just see it for what it is. She wouldn't be so beautiful and intelligent if she was talking like me. She wouldn't be none of them things. She's only those things because this is what the audience that she attracts want to hear. They're not responsible for racism. They're not responsible for racism that happens to black people. That stuff is over. It's over. It's no longer in existence. That's a damn lie. And all of them know it. All of them know it. Okay, then let's swap places. Why don't you walk in the shoes of a black person? I bet you will all unanimously scream no. No, we don't want you to have talent like the basketball players. And we're not talking about that part of being black. No, not our talent. We want you to deal with the discriminatory part of it, dealing with racist cops and stuff. I bet you will sing a whole different tune. You'll sing a whole different tune. But see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad this Hassan stepped up and spoke out against what Candace is doing because she is lying and she knows she's lying. I don't care how many white guys this woman marries. She knows what racism is. But it's her career to speak against it and ignore it when it happens to the black community because this is how she gets her bread and butter. It's a hustle. One of the teens also called her dirty, threatening to torch her house and tar and feather her, she claimed. This is what she wrote in her complaint. You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You know what we got to do? We got to get that actual complaint that she filed and start doing videos on it. Seriously. We need, because our subscribers are like damn detectives. We need to get that actual complaint that she filed in her lawsuit, and we need to post that up and do videos all across black YouTube about that. That's what we need to do because this girl is a liar. She is a liar and she's a hustler, and that needs to be brought out. Owens missed 6 weeks of school over the incident, saying it was too traumatizing to attend class with her alleged bullies. So she disappeared from school for 6 weeks over racist bullying that was happening to her. They threatened her life, they threatened to torch her house, they threatened to tar and feather. And if you know what happened in the South, tar and feathering was a common thing they did to black people. They would tar and feather. And I used to see these pictures in the paper. And my grandmother used to try to hide the paper because she didn't want us to be traumatized. We grew up in the North. We didn't see that kind of stuff. So when we would go down south, when I was small, she would take the paper and hide it because she didn't want us to see that. But what they would do is they would tar and feather a black person and then hang a sign on them. And you can pull up those pictures. The pictures are out there of the tar and feathering. That was done a lot across the South. It was done as much as lynching was done. There was a lot of tar and feathering going on. Know your history, ladies and gentlemen. Candace knows the history too, but she's denying it so that she can be on mainstream media and make money off of white folks over what she's saying. NAACP, which Owens now call one of the worst groups for black people, helped the teen secure $37,500 settlement in the case. So she talks against the NAACP, but they helped her with her lawsuit. How come she didn't go to white folks to help her with her lawsuit, ladies and gentlemen, who she's siding with, clearly siding with all the time. How come she didn't go to white people to help her with her lawsuit? Why did she go to the NAACP? And they helped her. And she now talks against the very group that helped her with her lawsuit and help her win this money. How come she didn't, since this racism didn't exist, how come she didn't go to white people to help her with her lawsuit? How come she went to black folks? See, she went to black folks when it was convenient, didn't she? It was convenient to go to black people then. But now she done hooked up and married a white man, and she's all over mainstream media, Fox News and all that. Now she can now talk against all this stuff and make money off of it too. How do you go from one extreme to another, ladies and gentlemen? You can, because it's a hustle. Folks on Twitter had plenty to say about Owen's fib. No, it's a lie. She's lying. She knows what racism is. She's lying. I wonder how much money Candace Owens got for the sale of her soul exactly. Writer Torre tweeted, Owens, one job is to deny white supremacy to make Republicans feel better. Andy Campbell, a HuffPost editor, chimed in. That's all she's ever invited to do, and she's happy to oblige. Exactly. Every time Candace Owens is on mainstream news, Fox News, or wherever she is, it's always to speak against racism from the white man's point of view. When has she declined doing that? Oh, racism don't exist. Racism is over. Racism is, you're over exaggerating. Racism is over. She's bidding. She's doing the white man's bidding for them. So she's going to continue to be in mainstream news, to be in the headlines, and have her fan base propping her up only because she's talking against black folks. This is the only reason why they like her. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen? This is the only reason why they like this woman. They don't like her for any other reason. I would never want a crowd of people like that around me. Never. Never. It ain't worth it. Again, these very same people, ladies and gentlemen, are the same ones that will cut her throat the moment she says one thing they don't like. They will be ready to cut her throat over it. You would never, ever want that kind of crowd. Ever. They flip on you way too easy. It's not worth it. This very real photo of 17-year-old Candace Owens surrounded by the NAACP appears to capture the exact moment she realized there's no bag in fighting white supremacy. See, look, this is the time of her lawsuit. Candace was 17 years old, fighting a lawsuit for being racially bullied, and look at who she surrounded herself with. The very people she talks against now. People in the black community were there for Candace Owens during the time of her lawsuit, ladies and gentlemen. And in return, look at what she's in mainstream media doing now. Look at what she's doing. Woo, I need this picture. I need that picture. I'm getting that picture, ladies and gentlemen, of her standing side by side with the NAACP during the time she sued. This is priceless. This is priceless right here. This is what you need to be putting in her subscribers' face that want to run out here defending her. This is the picture you need to put in their face. She's very disingenuous. She's lying. She's literally a paid actress. Another wrote. One user argued that Owen saw the race issues until she saw there was more money and fame to unsee them. Exactly. It's like I said, it's a hustle. It's all about making a buck. White people will throw money at you if you talk, if you got a black face talking against other black people. And go out here and look at the coons that have these type of channels on YouTube and look at how many subscribers they have opposed to the subscribers that people that fight and talk about discrimination, like myself. Go look at how many subscribers they have opposed to how many subscribers channels like mine have. It's a hell of a difference. They are very much more propped up on YouTube for putting on a performance that white people want to see because that's all they're doing. They're all paid actors, all of them. The conservative activist is no stranger to controversy. However, in September, Owens drew backlash after downplaying the threat of white supremacy during a hearing before the House Oversight Joint Subcommittee. She was also forced to resign from the conservative advocacy group Turning Point USA for her comments praising Adolf Hitler as an okay guy until he tried to globalize his message of hate. Jason Campbell. Candace Owens says, I do not remember when I was growing up having all of these race issues, and calls police brutality a myth. See, I'm glad folks finally got on Twitter and called her out. They're calling her out in the same manner that I have been for quite some time. And ladies and gentlemen, YouTube creators, black YouTube creators, let's try to find that original complaint that Candace Owens filed back in 2008 or 2007 when all this bullying was going on. And let's start putting that in our videos and talking about what she wrote in there, opposed to the kind of things that she is saying today. We need to find this original lawsuit and start bringing it up every time Candace claims racism is not real. This is how you fight her. Now, you can talk all that, well, maybe she changed. Nobody changes that much. Nobody. This is why we have seen racism all through the generations for the last 400 years in this country. You know why? You know why? Because nobody changes that much. So if you are attempting to say that, you're full of shit too. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.